Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a 29-year-old man, found himself trapped in a bureaucratic nightmare. Wrongfully deported to El Salvador in March 2025, Garcia became a pawn in a high-stakes game of international politics and legal wrangling. Despite a 2019 court order preventing his deportation due to safety concerns, Garcia was removed from the United States, sparking outrage and a fight for his return. This case shines a harsh light on the human cost of administrative errors within the immigration system and the struggle for justice in the face of political maneuvering. Garcia's ordeal began in 2019 when he was arrested in Maryland while searching for employment. Federal agents accused him of association with the MS-13 gang, relying on an unverified informant and his clothing style. Despite lacking any criminal record in both the United States and El Salvador, Garcia found himself facing deportation. The situation took a turn for the worse when, despite a judge's order, Garcia was deported to El Salvador. His case quickly escalated into a legal and diplomatic tug-of-war, raising concerns over due process and the rule of law. Garcia's deportation sparked immediate legal challenges, arguing the deportation defied a court order. The case reached the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, which upheld the lower court's decision, ordering the United States government to facilitate his return. However, this legal victory rang hollow as Garcia remained stranded in El Salvador, a country he hadn't known since childhood. His situation highlighted a chilling reality. Even with the law on his side, navigating the complex web of international relations and political agendas can hinder justice. The Supreme Court's ruling in Garcia's case, while a victory on paper, exposed a chasm between legal pronouncements and their enforcement. The court acknowledged the lower court's directive to effectuate Garcia's return, opting instead for facilitate, a softer term that seemingly gave the United States government leeway. This semantic shift, while appearing minor, underlined the complexities of enforcing judicial decisions in the realm of international relations. The Department of Justice admitted to an administrative error in Garcia's deportation, further fueling the debate over accountability and the consequences of such errors. However, the legal battle for Garcia's return collided head-on with the unyielding stance of El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele. Bukele, backed by then-President Trump, refused to comply with the United States court order, deeming the idea of Garcia's return preposterous. This defiance set the stage for a diplomatic standoff, raising concerns over the erosion of judicial authority and the increasing politicization of legal matters. The case became a flashpoint, exposing the limitations of the justice system when confronted with political maneuvering and the assertion of national sovereignty. Adding fuel to the fire, prominent figures within the Trump administration publicly backed Bukele's stance. Secretary of State Marco Rubio emphasized that United States foreign policy fell under the purview of the executive branch, not the judiciary. This statement, seen by many as a thinly veiled attempt to undermine the court's authority, further muddied the waters. Attorney General Pam Bondi, while acknowledging the United States government's role in facilitating Garcia's return, conditioned it on El Salvador's agreement, effectively shifting the onus onto a non-compliant party. The legal complexities of Garcia's case became entangled with a web of political posturing and misinformation. Stephen Miller, a close advisor to then-President Trump, made misleading claims, alleging Garcia was rightfully deported and misrepresenting Judge Zinnes's order. This blatant attempt to distort facts and influence public opinion highlighted the administration's willingness to prioritize a political agenda over upholding the law and ensuring justice for an individual. This deliberate obfuscation further fueled the firestorm surrounding Garcia's case, raising concerns about the erosion of truth and accountability in the pursuit of political goals. Amidst this political maelstrom, Judge Paula Zinnes, who had initially ordered Garcia's return, scheduled a hearing for April 15, 2025, to address the United States government's non-compliance with the Supreme Court's ruling. Judge Zinnes had previously demanded detailed information regarding Garcia's whereabouts, steps taken for his return, and future plans, signaling her commitment to holding the government accountable for its actions. This hearing represented a pivotal moment in the ongoing saga, potentially leading to consequences for the government's defiance of a court order. Adding their voices to the chorus of criticism, Senators Van Hollen and Schumer condemned the Trump administration and President Bukele, demanding Garcia's immediate return and highlighting the blatant disregard for due process. Their forceful condemnation underscored the growing bipartisan concern over the case, framing it as an attack on the fundamental principles of justice and the rule of law. This case, they argued, transcended partisan politics, representing a dangerous precedent that could undermine the very fabric of American jurisprudence. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, meanwhile, remained trapped in El Salvador, confined to the notorious Terrorism Confinement Center, or CCOT, in Tecoluca, a facility infamous for its human rights violations. This stark reality painted a harrowing picture of the human cost of this protracted legal and political battle. Garcia, presumed innocent and never convicted of any crime, found himself imprisoned in a foreign land, a victim of a system seemingly incapable of rectifying its own errors. His plight served as a stark reminder of the human faces behind legal cases, individuals caught in a web of bureaucracy and political maneuvering. Garcia's legal team, Murray Osorio PLLC, relentlessly pursued his return, demanding immediate action from the Department of Homeland Security and the State Department. Their efforts highlighted the crucial role of legal representation in holding powerful entities accountable and advocating for the rights of individuals caught in the crosshairs of complex legal battles. However, their efforts faced an uphill battle against a seemingly indifferent bureaucracy and a political climate seemingly unconcerned with the plight of one man. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, in a dissenting opinion, criticized the Supreme Court's handling of the case, suggesting a more assertive stance could have led to a swifter resolution. Her critique underscored the ongoing debate within the judiciary about its role in ensuring the executive branch adheres to legal rulings, particularly in cases with international implications. The government's defiance in Garcia's case, she argued, set a dangerous precedent, potentially emboldening future administrations to disregard judicial authority, further eroding the separation of powers. The saga of Kilmar Abrego Garcia stands as a stark reminder of the fragility of justice and the human cost of political maneuvering. His case, a tangled web of legal rulings, political defiance, and diplomatic complexities, exposed the vulnerabilities of due process and the rule of law. As Garcia languished in a Salvadoran prison, his fate hung precariously in the balance, a stark symbol of the ongoing struggle for justice in an era of political polarization and a disregard for the rights of individuals. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates.